thing I changed was that I momentarily swallowed my pride and sucked up to him so his childish need for total control over everything could be satisfied, just so I would be able to tear it down all over again. I waited until there was another order for a large pepperoni. Then, I took action. I did the same minor, insignificant deviation from Josh's requirement. Then, I popped it in the oven like everything was totally normal. Josh was already suspicious of me. I knew he would have seen the ticket for the large pep, so he'd be checking the oven before I knew it. I retreated to the walk-in cooler and started frantically sorting the dough trays. I felt my blood pressure already rising out of regret for the deed I just committed. I was pissed off at that in and of itself, the fact that I was so fraught with anxiety over the matter of a single slice of pepperoni. But it got worse when Josh started screaming again. Seriously? Again? Why? I heard him stomping through the kitchen, looking for me. I grabbed a loaded tray and tried to leave the cooler with it in my hands, but Josh blocked me at the doorway. You did it on purpose, didn't you?
Oh my God! Why do you care?
Right then, I could see his face turn hot red as I held a pizza tray up as a shield. It's been 8 years since I landed a job as a construction worker. People would come and go in this type of occupation, and that was because some tend to be dissatisfied with the $7.25 wage per hour. But while I saw countless new faces every time I worked on a project, one person stuck with me for the last 8 years, and that was none other than Andrew. Many of my co-workers avoided him because he seemed rather odd, especially with his obsession with Chick-fil-A. However, he was always punctual and diligent, supporting team members whenever they needed him. So, generally, he was an awesome guy to work with. However, one time he went below the belt, causing a ruckus at the worksite, all because the boss wanted him to work overtime, which meant he had to wait an extra 2 hours to get his beloved smokehouse barbecue bacon sandwich at Chick-fil-A. To be honest, it was quite the spectacle, as he literally looked like a grown adult behaving in the manner of a kid who didn't get what they wanted. He began having a hissy fit, banging his head with a piece of plywood till his face was covered in blood. Had I not been there to intervene, he would have beaten the boss to a pulp over a sandwich. One day, while we were at the construction site, it began to rain cats and dogs, and the winds made the scaffolds jiggle. So I sought shelter, while Andrew drenched himself in the rain, working sedulously. I tried calling out to him, saying, "Hey Andrew, come over here! You'll catch a cold if you stay under the rain like that!" However, I received no response. He didn't even look in my direction, and so I did as any good friend would do. I put on my raincoat and took an umbrella. Then I approached him and crouched, shielding his upper body with the umbrella, although he was already soaked. When I tried speaking to him again, I said, "Hey, man, I have nothing against persistence and commitment, but you're older than me, alright? You can't push yourself too much, especially in this rain. You're gonna get sick as hell." Once again, he ignored me, the reflection of determination in his eyes. "Hey, are you even listening to me? Look, we were permitted to take a day off due to the weather, so we're not even supposed to be here. There was a warning on the news of severe thunderstorms." Then, moments later, while constantly pounding the nail with a hammer, he finally replied, giggling deliriously. No, I can't stop now. I need to earn more if I want to get more of that Chick-fil-A sandwich." I tried reasoning with him and said, "There's a limit to everything, Andrew. Can't you give Chick-fil-A a break just for today?" He frowned at my proposal and retorted, "You don't understand, do you? I have Chick-fil-A every single day. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's my oxygen, all right? I can't live without it." "Andrew, it's just one day." "Can you live without oxygen in one day?" he asked, growing impatient. "No, I can't. But these are two different things, Andrew. There are other types of food you can eat." Infuriated, he said, "If you don't want to work, then don't! I'm not forcing you to!" "That's not what I'm trying to say, Andrew. Just leave me alone or I'm calling the cops!" I couldn't get through to him no matter how much I tried. So, as soon as he completed his task, we took the car and drove off. I was in the passenger seat while he was the driver. This was Andrew's car, and we'd always taken the ride together from the house to the construction site and vice versa. At an early age, I didn't have the best home life growing up. My parents made me go to bed really early, so I was forced to listen to them shout belligerently until really late at night, whether they were laughing about things I wasn't allowed to be a part of or arguing and getting into fights about what to do with me next.
I can't stand him! And why the hell does he keep wearing that stupid hat in my household? I said no hats in the house! You hear me, twerp?
I wasn't allowed to have many belongings either. Whether I asked for something, even if it was for my birthday, I was always shut down and punished just for having the nerve. One night, after I'd spent my birthday alone without getting a single gift, I was crying myself to sleep when I was graced by something extraordinary. I heard someone knocking on my window. I assumed it was just heavy debris from the windy conditions that night, but then I heard the knocks get louder. I then opened my eyes and saw a pair of entities hovering over my window. They were floating in midair, and each held a wand in their hand like they were some kind of fairy. I crawled under my blanket as I was legitimately scared out of my mind.
Let us in! Are you just gonna let us soak in the rain?
Open the window or we'll shove our wand up your—
Who are you guys? As they entered my room, they started floating around, as the female with the pink hair said,
Why, we're your fairy godparents. Do you know what that means?
No. I've never had fairy godparents before.
It means we can grant any wish that you desire, sort of like a genie. So tell us, what do you want, kid?
Really? Well, I could use a dentist, or maybe I should get a blow-up doll. I got it. I want a Game Boy. And just like that, they waved their hands and a brand new Game Boy Color appeared in my hands. I then heard loud footsteps approaching my bedroom. My dad came storming into my room, furious.
What the hell is that sound?
Do you see them, Dad? They're my fairy godparents. Look! But right as I pointed to where they'd been just a moment ago, they were gone.
What are you talking about? You've got to stop imagining things, Timmy. If you keep this up, I'll send you to Kanye West doctor. You hear me?
Of course he didn't believe me. I laid up in bed all night and played all the games that came with my present while hiding under the covers. A couple minutes later, when the coast was clear, I whispered, "Hey guys, you still there?"
Shut up, kid. You're gonna blow our cover.
Have you ever heard of the term snitches get stitches?
I know, but I couldn't help it. I'd just never seen anything like you guys, and I was hoping... I'm not asking for too much, but do you guys mind hooking me up with another wish?
Who are you talking to, Timmy?
Hey Vicky, do you mind knocking before coming into my room?
Are you talking to yourself?
Leave me the hell alone or I'm calling my fairy godparents!
What did you just say? What the hell are you talking about, you little vermin?
I said, leave me the hell alone or I'm calling my fairy godparents!
Ground. All I could remember was seeing red when the inconsiderate brat left my room in glee while I sat there crying a storm, knowing that I would be faced with this reality for the rest of my life. I then curled up into a ball trying to fall asleep. I'd never felt worse in my life than at that moment, but even in my darkest hour, the fairies comforted me and told me that everything was going to be okay. But then everything changed when the male fairy with the green hair said, "Hey Timmy, I think it's time." Time for what?
You've had such a hard day, Timmy. We're sorry we couldn't help you more, but we're here now. What do you want most in the world right now?
I don't know. Maybe a better life and to not see my stupid family ever again.
That's a tall order, Timmy, but we'll do our best.
I think you're smart enough to know what to wish for.
I wish for a knife.
Wish granted.
I then cautiously approached the living room where Vicky was watching TV. I then took the knife granted to me and did what I had to do. I knew with all this commotion going on, my parents were going to inevitably hear us and intervene, which is exactly what happened.
What the hell is all that noise?
Vicky, what's wrong?
No. What the hell did you do, you little twerp?
My sweet Vicky. How happened to you?
Seeing them weep was music to my ears, but I knew the job hadn't been fulfilled yet. I raised the knife up high and swung it down, finishing the deed.
I saw inanimate objects coming to life,
How are you doing, Steve? I'm glad you could finally join us.
said one of the paintings hanging on the wall. Oh, jolly good day. It took you long enough. I believe one of our comrades tried reaching out to you earlier. Guess you were too busy taking a dump since you smell like Blue's turds, said the magazine on the table. What the hell is going on? I held my head, wondering if I was dreaming or going nuts. I sat down on my couch to comprehend what was going on as I began questioning my own sanity. However, moments later, a tone of authority and reverence could be heard from the mailbox protruding from the window, telling the other objects in the room.
Easy now, friends. You're terrifying the poor man. Come on, Steve. Why don't you open me up and reach inside? Come on, Steve. Grab it. You've done this a million times. Don't act all brand new now. Come on. Take out your hand and grab that bad boy. It's been inside me for the last several days since your lazy ass doesn't check the mail. Okay. Alrighty. Now look in the camera and dance for me. Come on, you know the drill. Look deep in that camera and dance like how we rehearsed all these years. Go on. Okay, Mr. Mailbox. Look, everyone. I just got a letter. We just got a letter. We just got a letter. We just got a letter. I wonder who it's from. I then opened up the letter and saw a video from my father saying,
Steve, look, son, I know you've been successful with this whole vlogging thing, but I'm very concerned about your well-being. I just think you should consider checking into rehab. I immediately closed the letter up. I couldn't bear to hear another word from that old geezer. As I withered away in my dark thoughts, I cautiously opened the door and saw my deadbeat father. As he entered my house, he immediately consoled my cameraman without even acknowledging my existence. The worthless piece of trash then locked eyes with me while whispering some kind of secret to my cameraman's ear. But what really made me lose it all was when I saw Blue showing more love and affection to him than I ever received, despite all my years of taking care of that freeloading vermin. Are you talking shit to my cameraman? Get that out of my house now! Steve, just relax. I was going to give you a hug right after. Shut up, old man! I suggest you leave before you become a detective's next clue. Steve, I came here to take custody of Blue and your mailbox now! It felt like the weight on my shoulders evaporated. I couldn't stand being criticized and judged for the life I chose. But everything hit me when I started seeing things clearly again. Like I was being sucked back to the old world I had once abandoned. No! I'm not going back to this life! I have to find Blue's clues! I sprinted towards the kitchen. I then opened one of the kitchen cabinets where I saw one of Blue's clues. And there lied my morning meds. I grabbed them and ran back to the couch, where I again faced my cameraman. Daddy, are we still filming Blue's Clues? Yes, son. Just a second. Much better.